just lost the game. Why, you ask? Because I just said it. That's just how it works. How long was your streak? 2 months. Or maybe this is the first time you heard about this. But who came up with this game? What even is the game? This is You Just Lost the Game.
There goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, oh there goes Hawaii, the island is gone.
The game is not an actual physical game you can see or buy. The game is a mind game, something completely made up. Its playing field being the vast mind of oneself or no space at all. The website losethegame.net, which is a site that covers like anything and everything about the game, describes it as an incurable mind virus unleashed by scientists in the 1970s, an unprecedented social experiment involving every human mind, an infamous psychological challenge that broke game theory. Just the theory, huh? A game theory? The game has 3 simple rules. Rule number 1, everyone is playing. Every single person that is alive and has ever been alive is automatically playing. You cannot refuse to play. You also can never stop playing. Rule number 2, you lose as soon as you think about the game. The minute that you remember that this game exists, the millisecond you think about the game, you automatically lose and must restart the what I call and kind of made up the game timer, which is basically just the amount of time that you have managed not to think about it. The third and final rule, you must announce that you have lost. Whether it be going up to a friend, shouting it from the rooftop of your house, or making a simple post on social media, you have to tell people so that you can spread the knowledge of the game, and therefore make anyone who listens to you utter these words lose as well. People call it spreading the mind virus. There's no clear origin of the game. Some people believe it has always existed ever since the beginning of time and was only eventually discovered, but most people assume that the game is actually a deviated version of other mind games, spanning all the way back to around 1840s England. There's also been philosophical discussions and theories that date back to 13th century Germany that are pretty similar to the mind game. Most of the old mind games that the game is supposed to be based on are ones where you either have to try not to think of something or have to try and remember something the fastest. For example, the White Bear game from 1840s Russia, where you stand in the corner and have to not think of a white bear, which is, impossible. A more modern version of that game is the Pink Elephant game, which, is impossible because as soon as you say the word pink elephant, you will have to think of a pink elephant, just like with the white bear. One of the most popular mind games I saw is the game Finchley Central. It was very popular in London and later most of the UK, where people name names of London Underground Station, and the first person to say Finchley Central wins. There is also a very popular version of that game where you name the stations and the first person who thinks of Finchley Central loses instead. Most of us have probably come across at least some version of these games before in life. The first modern mention of the actual game that has been found on the internet is from the year 2000. On the 10th of August of said year, a man named Paul Taylor published a post on his blog artwork.dj. In the post, he describes how he heard about this game 6 months prior and, of course, lost it. He gave a brief explanation of what the game is and then, of course, instructed everyone who read this to announce their own losses online. There's so many different ways to make people lose the game. From making your own logos or sticking post-it notes into public restrooms, all the way to emailing radio show hosts or making YouTube videos, the LoseTheGame.net website is a great archive for it all. Now, one thing that I found particularly interesting about the game is the fact that you can never win. You can't win, it's impossible. But people still play it, they have fun with it. One of the things that we as humans hate the most is losing. Sure, some are better at it and some are worse, but no one likes to lose. Most people hate losing more than they even like to win, me included. Maybe the schadenfreude people feel seeing or making others lose outweighs the feeling of the loss itself. Or maybe knowing that no one can actually ever win makes them feel better about losing. But I've also seen people get so visibly and very upset about losing the game. You technically can't even win. There are no winning conditions for this game. Sure, some people say and believe that everyone who's not thinking about the game currently technically is winning, but in the official rules of the game, in quotations, because they're not official because no one knows who made the game, in the communal agreement of rules, there are no winning conditions. We just know when someone loses, we don't know when they win. You also can't just not win, you also technically can't lose, because winning and losing can't exist without each other. In order to win at a game, someone else has to lose. Is a game you can't win or lose even a game in the first place? But I think that maybe too much philosophical thinking about a game that people write on total stall walls about. I do enjoy the way that the losethegame.net website considers the game to be more of a virus than a game. Well, that's at least what it seems like to me, because it's kind of true. Once you've heard about the game and have it explained to you once, you technically lose every single time after, and you can't stop, you just can't. Because your brain will always automatically go back to the game. Once you know, you always know. You can never not know again. Unless you have amnesia that specifically cuts out the part where you learned about the game. You can never again forget long enough about it to have not thought about it longer than someone who has never heard about it before. If you go up to someone who does not know about the game and tell them that they lost the game, they didn't lose yet, only until someone spreads the virus through explaining the game, they actually lose. But the funny thing is, technically, through the internet, people kind of make themselves lose. If you go on the internet as someone who doesn't know about the game, if you see someone else saying that you lost the game, most people probably don't just move on thinking, what the fuck is that guy saying? But most will probably be curious about what that means. What's the game? Did they talk to me? What on earth is happening? And you'll either look at the comments to explain it or ask about it there. And then someone will come and tell you. People physically walk into the trap made of FOMO. You want to know, you have to know what they mean. And because you couldn't handle the feeling of not knowing this weird inside joke a million people seem to understand, you lost. You made yourselves lose. Maybe this whole video was just a play to make you lose. Maybe I will get a reward. Maybe I will get an achievement from the losethegame.net website because I just made everyone lose who saw this game in their feed today. We're all part of this game we never asked to be part of, and so everyone's somehow okay with it. Like, you can't, they decide for you if you lose or not. Maybe nothing is real. Maybe I don't know what's going on. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will enjoy many more versions of me going insane. See you next time.